Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Marvel Plus podcast, a show where we talk the Marvel shows on Disney Plus and how they connect to the MCU. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011, and you can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011. You drop a follow over there, join on the fun theory talk, conversation, all that fun stuff. When we go live, you can get notified right there, but if you can't catch it live, that's a-okay. Drops right here on YouTube the Monday following the episode, so you can check it out here. Let us know what you thought of the show, the episode, what you think's going on, etc. in the comments, and we'll get to it next time. Today, we're covering the Secret Invasion finale. I think it was titled Home. So we're going to be talking about that shorter finale, but at least when I checked runtime. But all in all, I think it did a good job of obviously wrapping up everything, tying it in a nice, neat bow. So let's get on into the recap and discussion and go from there. Similar to last week's episode, well, minus us covering 3 episodes, there's going to be a lot of jumping around in this, so I do apologize. We'll try our best to keep everything organized, but just heads up there, we'll be skipping around a lot in terms of locations or characters we're dealing with, etc. So you get the big recap at the beginning. Not going to go through that, but when we start the official opening, we see Vara leaving her house, or like cleaning it, after her fight with Gaia, defending themselves after the attack to try and take her out of the equation for not killing Fury. She gets a phone call. It is Fury. Apparently he's never called that number, but has dialed it a lot, and essentially he's just saying goodbye, just in case something happens. So you get that little quick intro there. You see Fury going to Skrullos after this, does a little kind of bait and switch with a car. The guards initially shoot up in the air to warn the car, hey, stop coming this way. Car doesn't stop. They go pew, 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 shoot the car some more. Turns out it's empty, and Fury ambushes them from the side. Hop over to the president. Oh, yeah, he's still kicking in the hospital. And Rhodes is Skrull Rhodes, fake Rhodes, Rhodey, being quite a dick. But we know why. We get it. Very pushy. Russians did this. We gotta attack the Russians. Put out a statement. Put on the attack. Blah, 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 blah. And there's another admiral there who's like, well, maybe we should wait a little bit, get more intel, whatever. And Rhodes, obviously, is the Skrull trying to push this agenda with Gravik's plan. Just like, no, we gotta do this. I made a statement for you, Mr. President. And the president is just like confused and trying to figure out what's going on. As this discussion is going on, there'll be a knock on the door. The woman's going to enter the room and kind of talk to Rhodey. And she tells him pretty much that there's some tank mobilization along Russia's borders, and then provides aerial footage of that, along with Skrullos once again being in the, essentially, like the nuclear site that they had. And yeah, he's pushing a little bit more now that obviously Russia is taking action, presuming, defending themselves, as we can see. Back over to Skrullos. Fury's worked his way into the camp, and he walks up to the cafeteria at first. Notices one body outside, doesn't really take too much notice to it, but when he walks inside, he kind of sees the aftermath of the Gravik dispute fight, when the other Skrulls tried to rebel against him from last episode. He starts coughing and pulls out a tracker of some kind that points him in the right direction towards the lab. I do have a question about this, but I'm going to save it for later. We'll hop back over to Rhodes. He gets a phone call now, and Sonya is claiming that Fury is on his way and he needs to be on guard. Obviously, Skrull Rhodey's very confused by this, because why would Fury come back for the president after he warned him? And obviously he's got bigger fish to fry, but he starts to panic from there. Going back to Fury. Told you, hopping around. Fury heads deeper into the Skrullos base, finds the lab eventually, and finds Gravik standing in the machine. The two have a lovely discussion. Fury's going to ask where everyone is. Gravik claims that they're all locked away. I guess the remainder of the people who obviously did not revolt against him. And Fury is having a rough time here. The coughing and stuff. I presume this is the radiation getting to him. I think they actually confirmed that at one point. Takes out some pills, which I don't know if we pre-established. He's trembling so much he ends up dropping the pills and is unable to take them. And Gravik, seeing him in his weakened state and realizes he's not going to survive this, offers him a drink, and we'll move on from there. Quickly back over to the president. Squirrel Rhodey, now in panic mode, starts moving the president for protection, and Sonya is going to start taking out some of the guards that are patrolling the hospital itself. Back to Gravik. He's, I wouldn't say pissed, but he's obviously doing the whole evil villain thing of like, not the whole plan, but like, you were wrong, this is this is that, and is like, what is your plan even in this situation, Fury? How are you going to stop me? What's going on? Do you have a backup plan? Did you call your Avenger friends? Like, anything like that? And, Fury claims none of that's going on. And we get a little bit more backstory on Gravik and essentially the disguise, the skin that he has decided to wear. Turns out it's the first human that he killed under Fury's order back in the day. And, Fury was a hero for him. And then he saw, after all this time, like he wasn't fulfilling his promises and led to the road that he is in on this path. So he warns Fury, or rather, not warns, but threatens Fury, like, first I'm going to kill you, then I'm going to flamethrower the entire entire race of humanity and get rid of them and provide a home for the Skrulls. You should have kept your promise. And Fury says, you know what, you're right, I failed you. The only way I could keep my end of the bargain, after so many years of searching and realizing nothing was going to happen, was to make you a home here. So he's kind of preaching what Talos was saying of like living in unity, Skrulls and humans side by side, and living cohabitating the planet together and going from there. So that was the initial plan. Then the blip happened, and that kind of threw a lot, the plan off a lot. And he talks about his experience with the blip, how when he felt he was getting dusted, apparently the last thing he felt was relief. He just felt like this weight was lifted off his shoulders. He was passing on, and I don't know, all that stress and problem management or whatever just kind of left him. But when he did come back, he came back for Gravik because he had a lot of faith in Gravik being the youngest part of the recruits. But unfortunately, seeing what had happened, he felt responsible for it and needed to come back and take care of that. Quickly back over to the hospital. Sonya's still clearing out the hospital at this point, and that was just a quick cut. So Fury decides he's going to give him the harvest. And he's going to give him the harvest in exchange for him leaving Earth. Gravik can go and wipe out another race or species from a planet and make that their home. Just leave Earth. That's all he really cares about. So Gravik takes it. Fury, trembling and coughing some more, falls down to the floor, and we'll see Gravik once again take the harvest. Quickly, we're going to cut away from this. We're going to go back to Rhodey. He goes to look around a little bit to find Fury around here for, in the hospital, but Sonya's going to catch... Oh, no, not yet. No, Sonya will ambush him. Meanwhile, President is going to ask for his own gun to defend himself. So, there you go. We're also going to see a quick glimpse of the military passing a classified envelope, presumably about the attack. Back to Fury. Gravik taking the harvest, puts it into the lab, and we see a plethora of names of different heroes and villains from the past, obviously MCU timeline. Blood they must have gathered at some point to create all this. So villains we've talked about already with the Super Skrull stuff, like Cull Obsidian, and stuff from the Extremis, and Groot, and the Frost giant monster thingy. But we see a lot more names in here. I think Fury confirmed that Carol Danvers' DNA was in there, and we'll see, not to glimpse too much on the future, we'll see more of what is involved with that. But there's a lot of names that pop up in that database when he uploads it to the machine. Machine starts up, and Fury and Gravik are both in the machine, and the machine goes off and is doing the procedure. scratch his head. We'll come back to that later. So Gravik now being super buff, he's a giant ass Skrull, like boy went to the gym a lot. Throws Fury across the room, goes to punch him, and then Fury's like, bitch, and stops his punch. And this is where I was like, oh god, no. The two get in a fight, but it is revealed that it is Gaia that has been in disguise of Fury this whole time. Had a little bit of a glimmer of that and like a feeling, but also was like, maybe this is just how Fury's going to bring his guard down with the trembling, the coughing. Like, I get it radiation-wise how this would obviously affect the humans. I think we established that in episode 1. But I was like, this makes Fury look real weak. I wasn't sure if it was just a guard lowering technique and then he was going to take advantage of him because obviously Gravik got the superpowers. But we talked about that last episode, like, how is Fury going to deal with this? So let's fight superpowers with superpowers. So Gaia's here. She's got all the Super Skrull abilities, as we saw when she escaped. But now she's got the Super Skrull Plus DLC pack, and so does Gravik, and the two are going to fight in a fight of epic proportions of superpower stuff. So two get engaged with that. And I think we get the reveal of what the the power I was talking about a few episodes ago, where they dropped the verbiage of like there was a hero who could blend in more. And I was like, how can they blend in more? They already shapeshift. We see Gaia use Ghost's power. Now, there's a lot of you being like, who's Ghost? What are you talking about? Ghost was from Ant-Man 2. I think her name was Ghost. I'm like 99% her name was Ghost. Thank you, Marvel Snap. That was the girl from Ant-Man 2 who was, Ghost, could make herself invisible, but her powers were like fighting against her. So occasionally she would like glitch out and be like, like stagger. So I think at the end of Ant-Man 2, they kind of, like, she was in some kind of compression machine to kind of help keep her intact throughout the movie. And at the end, I think her and Hank were working together to somehow get her under control. This is where it gets confusing because we haven't seen her in ages. So it's like, But yeah. So that was I think that's the power set they were talking about, because obviously she can fully cloak herself with that. So that could kind of help them with that. But we'll see plethora of powers in this fight. It's not a super long fight, not gonna lie. We see obviously the Cole Obsidian stuff. We'll see Gravik use crud. Of course I'm gonna forget everybody's name. Obsidian, no, not Obsidian. Ebony Maws, the little telepathic guy. See those powers go. We see the Ghost powers go. We see maybe a Hulk arm at one point. Could be lying there. We see an ice sword. We see a big beam. We see Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel's power. And then we see Mantis's power. So there's a plethora of powers in there that we see in this fight. Doesn't go super long. Gaia handles him pretty well. She's going to get a grip on Gravik at one point by the throat. And Gravik's all like, you're just like your dad. And you're weak, failure. I don't remember the exact verbiage. But then she just kind of blasts him right in the chest and creates a big ass hole, and he dead. So okay. That was easy. Meanwhile, while this is going on, what happens here? Oh, okay, so I skipped ahead a little bit with the fight, but when that happens, the president, we're going to cut back to him. Sonya has Rhodey hostage and is like, hey, he's not who he says he is. President doesn't know what's going on. And Fury, the real Fury, is going to bust in some of the hospital doors and take out the rest of the guards. However, with a little sleepy dart. Takes those guys out, puts his gun down, and starts explaining everything to the president. Talks about Skrullos, talks about the people in the pods that are taking over. So if you nuke them, or you nuke the city, you're losing a lot of great minds. And Rhodey. Explains everything to the president. Asks him to call off the attack. President's all confused, and Sonya's like, what does it matter if you delay the attack? Like, would you rather delay it or do something that isn't supposed to be done? While this is all going on, Rhodes Squirrel Rhodes, breaks out of it, attempts to pull his gun. I believe on the president. I don't know. Attempts to pull his gun. Fury, thank God, quick reflexes. I don't know how he picked up his gun that fast from the chair. Picked up and went pow and shoots Rhodey right in the head. Sorry, fake Rhodey. Fake Rhodey falls to the ground, turns into a squirrel. President goes, oh my God! And he knows what's going on. Needs a phone. Sonya hands him the phone. Apparently he's got the hotline. Maybe he's got his presidential password. I don't know. But he's able to call off the attack. Whew. Thank God, because we did see a silo open at one point. You know, open up for the attack. So, all done with that stuff. We will get one more scene from Skrullos after here with Gaia going and waking up pretty much everybody who was taken hostage from the pods. So we see the doctor, we see, what was it, Pagan, I believe, whoever he was replicating. We'll see Agent Ross. Totally forgot he was a Skrull at the beginning. And then we'll see Rhodey get waken up. Now some interesting things we'll talk about those two in a moment. But we see them all get woken up, recovered, and see them leaving Skrullos together with Gaia. We talked about that. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. So now we're going to kind of get all the little sprinkles of the end, who's doing what, where are they going in these separating paths with the finale. The big yikes, and I understand, but it's like, oof, that's rough. We see President Ritson making a public address about the attack in England, right? And he lays it out there. The Skrulls are who did this. It's an alien invading species. And we are going to find you. We know how to find you. And we are going to eliminate you. You need to get off our planet. You need to get out of here. Blah, blah, blah. He's essentially threatening the Skrulls. And I'm like, okay, great. It's one of those unfortunate things where the few damage the many. Which I get it. They were all kind of pissed and kind of reforming, but then you don't see the other side where they're like, oh, this is too far, and then they revolted. But you're only taking in the information that you see from his perspective and reacting. I get that. It's hard to be like, oh yeah, totally fine. I just got attacked, but oof, we're in a rough spot. So, hey, maybe there is a potential for season 2. So rough there. He's very aggressive, and we'll even see later at some point when Fury talks on the phone, I know I'm skipping ahead, talks to the president of like, this was not the right move. I'm not happy with your statement on the Skrulls. Now you have your hit squads going after people. We see them go after the news reporter and kill him essentially on air, which is fucking brutal. And going after all other Skrulls that they know are covered, being duplicated, I guess, from the people who returned from the pods. But also we see other quote-unquote vigilantes killing pretty much innocent civilians and human lives in this. I believe we see some politician get shot and she was normal and a human, so like that's rough. Like it's everybody's in mass hysteria now kind of thing. So that's not great how that situation was handled. So Fury's not super happy with that. But the president doesn't seem too irked. Once again, I get why he would be angry. I get why he would be displeased. I have a little bit of a question mark about that I'm going to talk about at the end as well. So that was the president. Fury. Sorry, jumping around. Notes on phone, not the best technique. Having them in front of me helps a little bit better, but we'll do what we can do. Fury does go back home real quick, apologizes to Vara for not being there. She says she doesn't know who she is when he's around, but knows who she is when he isn't around. And he says, do you want to give it one more chance? He's leaving tonight. Seems like they're going to split and go their separate ways. So we'll continue Fury's line from here. So like I said, he called the president, talked about that talk. He's about to enter the spaceship to go back up to the Saber ship and continue his work up there, whatever he's doing. But we see another car pull up. Turns out it's Vara / Priscilla / whatever name we're calling her. And the two reconcile. They say they're going to give it a try. She finally transforms into her Skrull self. He's like, yep, that's how, I want you to be your true self. And I was like, okay, good. This wasn't super happy about, how this was talked about or handled. And we talked about that in past episodes. But they're all accepting. They're all loving. They decide to go back up to the spaceship together. She's going to help be a diplomat for a potential Kree peace talk that is happening right now. So the Krees and Skrulls in the comic books have always been kind of button heads. So it seems like the Kree are offering these peace talks. Fury wants her to be a diplomat because she's a good talker and a good people person. She says she'll help, but then she has to come back to Earth, and that's where the groundwork and really her job, she feels, needs to be where she needs to be. So like I said, they're happy. They love each other. Whoop! They go up in the spaceship. Just a little prior to that, just a little last minute cleaning up the loose ends here. We're going to see Gaia walking down an alley, and we notice that a car is following her. She rounds a corner. Turns out it's Sonya. And her and Sonya have decided to make a partnership, an alliance. At first, Gaia's very hesitant of this. She's like, well, Talos and Fury were working together, and look where my dad is now. He's dead and 6 feet under. Well, actually, he's burnt. I don't want that. And Sonya's like, nope, that's right. That was not good. Those two made a lot of mistakes, and we need to be better than that. I'm going to use you. You're going to use me, but let's make things better for... crap, I lost my spot. The Skrulls need a leader. Let's make things better, and let's have a partnership. Seems like they agree, and they leave together. So that's the basic idea of what happened in this episode. I know a lot of jumping around, and maybe not the strongest finale. Like I said, we did finish everything. Some things seemed a little quick. The whole Gravik fight was just very short and quick and precise, concise, whatever the word is. Gaia seemed to get the upper hand way super easily when they both had the same powers. Apparently they both know how to use them right away. Interesting stuff. So yeah, let's talk about what Mrs. G in the chat's bringing up. Think the president is bad. I'm kind of getting an inkling of that too. Now, he's being really aggressive. Once again, totally understand. You just got attacked in England. You learn about this alien race. They're invading and they're taking over the planet. I could totally understand, full defense mode and, get out of here, blah, blah, blah. I get that. It's just... It was like a flip of a switch after, hospital confusion to then aggression, kill them all. It's just oof. I'm surprised there wasn't more of a debriefing, if Fury could have filled him in the Gravik stuff or something. Now, if he is a Skrull, let's hop to that point. Why would he push so heavy on this? That's his own people, or her own people. We don't know. That's their own people. Why would they push so heavily against it? Why would it also be a double agent type thing where Rhodey was the Skrull talking to, the President Skrull? That's where it starts getting a little shaky of they would already be on the same page. You wouldn't need Skrull Rhodey to tell President Rhodey what to do. Oh, sorry, not President Rhodey, Skrull President what to do. That theory is where it kind of falls apart. I think it's more just a point of hey, world leader, and everything is, there's a lot of bad that you didn't know about, you thought was under control, but now this new threat's here and it's around. So it's more of that hard left turn of correction where maybe it's not the best move hindsight wise, but he feels that it's the best move now. I agree how the vigilante quote unquote stuff and people taking it into their own hands, that's the hysteria part of it of I mean, you could relate it to current day stuff if you wanted to. Like, oh, people are talking about aliens. Like, if everybody's just like, panic button, and then, everybody does their own thing. It's a little crazy. Maybe not a super good tie-in with real life. But, like, it's one of those things where people are just reacting way too fast on stuff. Which I get. I totally understand. Because it reflects real life. Some people would do that. It's fair. I think that's the case. You mentioned Hydra. I don't think it's Hydra. When they did not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., when they did Winter Soldier and they revealed that Hydra was infiltrated into S.H.I.E.L.D., and we had that one senator in the government, when those files were leaked from Black Widow, all those names went out. So unless this is like a very beginning stages of like a resurgence of Hydra, that could be intriguing. Bring that back. But I don't know. That's another layer of like, there's potential. Obviously, there's always potential. I'm not sure. But I'm going to lean more towards the aggressive, hard correction angle. But I wouldn't be like against a villain angle if they decided to go that route with the president. I would just like anything, I want an explanation from it. Because like, planting seeds is fine, and then it's that thing you can go, oh, it was so-and-so, or this, or that, the other thing. But as long as it all makes sense, and there's explanation for potentially those missing beats, or the filler in between, that's fine. I think in the Marvel Comics, the president has also been kind of, not bad, but he's been a mixed bag, where they can be good, and they can be questionable in sometimes what they do. So I think that lines up, at least in terms of that. But take that with a grain of salt. I'm only speaking from outside looking in and not specific examples of like this issue or this story, whatever. So, president. Yeah. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, which everybody's talking about. Rhodes. Skrull Rhodes. And let's talk about Agent Ross, because once again, whoopsie, forgot he was also a Skrull at the beginning of this. When did they get taken over? Also, Agent Ross, we have seen him heavily involved in the Wakanda stuff. When was he taken over? Now, let's plot out Agent Ross's stuff as far as we know, right? Black Panther 1, he helps out. He takes a bullet for Okoye. They bring him to Wakanda, and he flies the little spaceship and helps with the Civil War thingy they got going in there, and then he leaves, right? Then in Wakanda Forever, I think that was the next time we saw him, he is helping defend Wakanda against the other countries trying to like get in there and invade because of the vibranium. They think the vibranium's also only in Wakanda. We learn it's in other spots, and the whole Namor stuff. And at the end of that movie, Ross is getting transported by military to go to a jail, I believe, because he was technically betraying America by talking to Wakanda, be like, hey, get the fuck out of there, or whatever the hell. So he's getting transported, and then we have Okoye and, I'm sorry, I don't know the other, Dora Milaje guard, but in their Iron Man-esque armors, they swoop in, break him out, and I presume bring him to Wakanda. So, when was he taken? Like, like, there's a big, like, did a Skrull get into Wakanda and then take him out? Maybe. Also, like, is nobody keeping tabs on him in Wakanda? I have no idea. No idea. Well, we'll have to get some explanation there of when he was taken over. Let's talk about the Rhodey situation. Now, the biggest key component here is it seems Rhodey can't walk. I didn't see him with the leg brace thingies that like he had, the cybernetic leg parts that he was rehabbing with when he left the pod, but he needed two gentlemen to carry him out. So he got paralyzed in Civil War. Vision shot him in the chest. Pew! After Falcon did a little front flippy dive to dodge it, hit the arc reactor, and he fell far in his War Machine thing. He got paralyzed. But then at the end of that movie, Rhodey is rehabbing with the leg guards. We get Stanley cameo, Tony Stank dropping off a package. But he's rehabbing there. And then what does Rhodey do after that? Then Rhodey, after Civil War, I think it was just Infinity War Endgame stuff there. So Infinity War, he's dealing with, he's at Avengers Tower. We see him with the leg guard or the leg gear on. He reunites there, joins the Wakanda attack. He does not get dusted, helps out with the blip, and part of that patrol reports on Ronan, aka Hawkeye. Then he's helping out with the time travel heist thing. Then the series of Endgame events. I'm not going to recap the whole movie. Then after Endgame, oh boy, we're on a web here. After Endgame, then we see him in Falcon and Winter Soldier again. Briefly, right? Right? And then here. There might have been one more time. But yeah, okay, so anyways, so Rhodey is still paralyzed. That's the main thing, where we know he was at least taken over post-Civil War. That's our at least like blanket of like, okay, it wasn't anything before that. So now we get to theorize about when these people were taken over. I'd like to, in my heart of hearts, for Rhodey's situation, I'd like to say he got taken over after Endgame. I don't recall too much what he did in Falcon and Winter Soldier, so he could have already been government-esque official at that point. If he was, that could sign a good, or be a good indicator of like, oh yeah, it's a Skrull in this higher up position. That'd be a good place to kind of take over and infiltrate. But I don't remember exactly his position. So that would be something I need to go back to or look up or whatever. If the Skrull was around before that, Skrull was playing game. Like I said, it was very easy for him to take over Rhodes, because Rhodes doesn't have superpowers themselves. It's just the suit. But yeah, for my heart of hearts, I'm going to say after Endgame, just so my brain doesn't hurt and then my feelings aren't hurt. Because he did have that nice goodbye moment with Tony when Tony passed. I don't know if the Skrull would do that. I mean, I guess he would to fit in, but that wouldn't make me feel good. Because Rhodey waking up and being like, what, he's dead? Oh, God. We gotta deal with that shit. No. So I'm going to say it was post-Endgame. But yeah, we really don't know. Everything is just up in the air. And once again, as I talked about, I think when I covered episode 2, I'm sure there's a lot more people theorizing, making the crazy point-to-point boards of trying to figure this out. I'll leave that to them. But hopefully we get an explanation at some point next time we see Rhodes, maybe the Armor War series, next time we see Ross, question mark. Maybe we can get some kind of explanation of like what their final moments were before they got taken over, or us learning with them when it happened, whatever it is. It would just be nice to know, oh, okay, there's some backstory there. I already talked about Gaia with the powers. I think that was what I wanted to address, of just like she learned them really, really quick and kind of just pushed over Gravik fast. Cool, we're going to see more Emilia Clarke in here. I guess we're making Super Skrull good. Yeah, changing things up. That's fine. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's everything I had. If there was anything I kind of alluded to and I forgot here, my bad. I apologize for that. But I hope you guys enjoyed Secret Invasion. I enjoyed it for the most part. I don't think it was the best thing in the world. I did enjoy these new characters we did establish with Gaia, with Sonya. She's a really interesting character. I want more backstory about like what her deal is. I did enjoy the tenseness of, like, obviously what was going on in the situation. I do appreciate the stakes where Talos died and Maria Hill died. Like, I appreciate that because it makes like it feel like things matter, and it's not just like, oh, I got hurt real bad, I'm okay, or they're gonna get resurrected. Obviously that still could happen, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Sad to see those characters go, but I appreciate the realness, whatever, the stakes, there's another word for it I'm searching and I can't find it. I appreciate that. I appreciate the tenseness of the situation and there being repercussions because of it. And not just like the world's in danger, but everybody's fine. I appreciate that. Not happy the characters are gone, but appreciate that that's the thing. I've said that 8 times. I apologize. I've seen a lot of people being like, Fury, this ruined Fury for his first series. This, granted, could be from people who know a little bit more about the comics and stuff like that. I don't think it ruins anything with Fury. Sure, he looks a little weak at some points, but he's dealing with a lot. And, you know, learning, hey, I can't solve everything or whatever, which I know Fury in comics kind of was like this all-knowing badass of a super spy. But I appreciate that. I appreciate the weakness in him. The only thing I didn't like about Fury here, and I talked about it multiple times, was him and Vara's stuff. Of like, why is she not just a Skrull at home? Why is she... I get why she would feel she needs to disguise herself, but like that, yeah. But we clean that up at the end. We're all good. We're all happy. So that's fine. That was the only thing I had against that. Other than that, yeah, just like, not the best, not the greatest. Not bad, just good. It was fine. I enjoyed it. 6 episodes, nice. Runtime a little weird, but I guess you got to get all the exposition and explanation out there in the first few episodes, and then you can coast from there. Last but not least, Sonya good, Sonya bad? That's a good question. I'm going to lean Sonya good. I'm going to say Sonya is like the England, UK-esque Fury. In terms of like, she's not, oh crud. I always say her name wrong. Louise Dreyfus. What is her first name? I don't remember. I don't think she's her type of character where she is a bad agent or in it for the wrong reasons. I could see definitely comparisons for it or see why. But I think Sonya just has a little bit of a different approach. She's super secretive. We don't know a lot about her. So that kind of leads to like, oh, she could be sneaky. But I think her intentions are good, and I'm going to choose to trust her right now. I'll probably regret that later, but we'll see. Anyways, guys, my name is Bret, aka Enigma9011. This has been another episode of Marvel Plus, wrapping up Secret Invasion. Hope you guys enjoyed the series. Hope you guys enjoyed the finale. If you guys want more of these, whether it's the movies, the other series, you can check them out on YouTube now. But if you want to catch out future episodes live, you can always go over to twitch.tv/Enigma9011. You drop a follow over there. You'll get notified when we go live with the show. Joining all the fun theory talk and discussion as we're having it. But if you can't catch live, that's a-okay. Just keep it here on YouTube. New episodes are going to drop Monday after the episodes air over on Disney+. So you can check them out there. Put your comments and theories and all that fun stuff in the comment section below. And we'll talk about them next episode. But yeah, appreciate you guys giving us a chance, giving us an opportunity, giving it your time. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.